I read a beautiful speech by Steve Jobs given in the convocation in Stanford. He was addressing the graduates. Steve Jobs said, I never graduated, and this is the closest I ever got to a graduation. He said his biological mother was an unwed graduate. So she wanted to give him away and made him available for adoption before he had come out. Her condition was that the adopting parents should be graduates. And 2 parents were assigned. However, when he popped out, he was a boy instead of a girl, and they refused to take him. So another set of parents were contacted, and he was assigned to them. But when his biological mother came to know that they are not graduates, she refused. 2 months later, she conceded on the condition that they would make this child a graduate. Those 2 now, his parents to be, they were poor and they were little educated. After schooling, he chose Reed's College, the fees of which was equal to that of Stanford. And Steve Jobs, in his speech there, says that was a big mistake. After 1 year, I felt the burden is too much on my parents and I dropped out of the course. And then I was staying in the dormitory with my classmates without paying fees. And to feed myself, I used to collect Coke bottles and sell them for 5 cents. And since I was not now actually officially registered in any course, I would drop in wherever I liked. So he would pick and choose the courses. So he says that some courses on calligraphy caught his attention. Reed's College had the best calligraphy in the whole country. That is where he learnt about serif and sans serif fonts. He says that turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Because later on, when he met this partner of his, and they started manufacturing computers from his father's garage, and slowly it became successful, he utilized his knowledge of serif and sans serif fonts. Because if you remember the DOS earlier, it never had anything of the sort. So he says, what was such a terrible thing happened to be a blessing in disguise. And further he says in his speech that since Windows copied everything of Mac, so they also copied the serif and sans serif fonts. And that is why computers around the world have this beautiful visual fonts. Then he says that at the age of 30, when he was flying high, and Apple had become so famous, he was thrown out of the company. Now, how can you be thrown out of a company that you have founded? What happened was that they got some investors on board. And these investors had a difference of opinion with him when they threw him out. So, when he was thrown out, he felt really shattered. It was a very public dismissal. And he says he felt like the whole world has come to an end. What to do now? He felt he had let down the innovators of the era. And he went and apologized to Mr. Packard, etc. I am really sorry. Nevertheless, after 6 months, he realized that he still likes doing the same thing. So he established 2 new companies, Pixar and I guess Next. And because he did not have the weight of Apple on him, he was now light. And with that freedom, he allowed his creativity to soar. And the technology that Pixar developed, later on, it got bought over by Apple, so he came back. And that is the basis of the Apple products of today. So I said, look, when things appear to be shattered and difficult, you can still keep a positive attitude and you see them as blessings in disguise. From God's perspective, it is all a learning curve. We are all WIPs, not VIPs, WIPs, works in progress. And in this situation of ours, we will make many mistakes. And things will become difficult before they become easy. So, we should never feel dejected. We should never feel discouraged. We should constantly learn from mistakes and keep improving them.